All right, my friends, welcome to episode 167 of Prof and a Dev Play Games. I am the Professor Larry at Prof Plays Games on Twitter. Over there is Anthony the Dev at SummerSpeak on Twitter. How's it going, man? How was your Thanksgiving break? Or not break, week, whatever, vacation?
It's kind of a break, a little bit of travel. It was good. Pretty relaxing, a little stressful with kids at times, and family.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, family.
That's right. You went south to go see family for
Thanksgiving. I did go south. Went back to where we grew up. Only for a couple days. Mm-hmm. Got there Wednesday night. Drove all day. Woke up stupid early Wednesday. Oh yeah, out of the house by 5.
And you went in one day?
Yep. Out of the house by 5 and got down there actually at 5. Took about 12 hours with kids, which is great.
Right.
So we stopped and did all that. So yeah, and then spent Thanksgiving there with family, and then puttered around on Friday, kind of just doing a few little things, and then went into the Redwood National Park on the way back up on set. We left Saturday morning and spent like 5 hours in Redwood National Park.
Oh, I bet your kids loved it.
I realize I've never really done. Mm-hmm. I guess just living there isn't, you're just like, whatever.
Right.
I mean, but we stopped and did a couple hikes that I'd never done before, and went to a couple visitor centers that I have no memory of going to ever. Yeah. Kids loved it. They had a blast.
Yeah, I definitely
drove halfway up Oregon.
Every time I go back there, I end up camping in one of those spots, and it's like I never went here as a kid. Now I'm enjoying it. Being back.
Yeah. And especially north, National Park and everything north. Like I went to south to Avenue of the Giants and Humboldt Redwood State Park,
right.
Things like that. Mm-hmm. Like I went south a lot more. I just never went north to the national park. Because anytime we'd go north, we were going much farther.
Right.
So
yeah, you're on your way to something basically.
Exactly. We're just going through it. So it was fun and everything, and then got to spend yesterday in Portland with the kids, going and checking out pals and having Deschutes Brewery beer and
nice.
Some ice cream and, just doing the Portland thing.
Yeah. No, it's a good city. I really enjoy that city. I'm always there when it's raining, but I still enjoy it.
It was raining. It was great, though.
Yeah. Right.
We are in full-on rain fall up in the Pacific Northwest again.
Yeah.
So
if
you don't enjoy that, don't live here.
Yeah, exactly. It's known for its rain.
Yeah.
Speaking of being known for things, every once in a while we're known for giving away keys for games. Here's a key for a Steam game. I'm not going to tell you the title. Just plug it in and see if you like it. Let us know. It's J6DA3M35LWIWT7C. So enjoy that game on us, and thanks for listening to our podcast. Again, if you like our show, please rate us on a podcast service of choice. This week we're going to talk about Diablo 3, Diablo 4, Diablo. There's an article from Jason Schreier in Kotaku, so we're going to talk about the state of Diablo, one of our favorite games, and then we're going to move right into the one game category that we know about that we did not talk about last week, which is the best VR game, simply because I had just purchased a VR system last Sunday and hadn't really played with it too much, but I've had a week with it, so I have some thoughts now. And then we'll roll into what we're playing. So why don't I shoot it over to you, if you had a chance to read this article and kind of give us your Cliff Notes summary of what Schreier was talking about here. So our audience is kind of
the article just came out, and clearly he's been putting this together for a bit, talking to a number of people anonymously that have worked on what I guess is currently Diablo IV in different states. But the complete Cliff Note short of it, making games is hard. And making Diablo games is hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of expectations and what people want.
And then people counting the money.
And don't expect this game anytime soon. I'll be honest. Like, it's already been rebooted once, completely and totally. So it's going to be a bit, I believe, before you see this sees the light of day. Yeah, and who knows? It might get rebooted again.
Exactly. Which is a big reason why they didn't announce anything at BlizzCon, because they have no idea. Why announce it so early? That's what's crazy, is people didn't think it was early, because 3 came out in 2012 and then Reaper came out in 2014.
It wouldn't have been early if it hadn't got rebooted in 2016.
Right.
I think everyone is expecting that a reboot hadn't happened. I had heard myself rumors from different people about that 2016 version.
About the Dark Souls
I didn't know
one,
it had
right?
been rebooted. Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's what I was expecting to be announced.
Right. You had mentioned it a while ago, and when I was reading this, I was remembering on some earlier podcast you had mentioned rumors you heard about that Dark Souls kind of Diablo take.
Yeah. I had never heard that it got rebooted, though.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it sounds like they're still fighting with if they want to keep that camera or not from this article.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's still up in the air. It's back into an ISO format, whatever they're working on now. But there's still this, like, is Diablo defined by that isometric camera?
Yeah. And that and the loot grind. I don't know. Those two things make it Diablo for me.
And to me, I would say no. It doesn't need to be that.
Oh, it doesn't.
It could be over the. It can be over the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be an action RPG.
Yeah.
So that doesn't require an over the shoulder camera
or an ISO camera.
An ISO camera.
Yeah.
Either one, really.
Right.
I mean, and the console version kind of broke me of that because it does a lot of console Diablo 3 does a lot of camera tricks and shifts it and makes me realize, oh, there's a lot you could do here and still feel like the button mashing craziness. The big thing is whenever you detach it from that isometric standpoint, how does it play on PC? It no longer is a point and click game.
It's not a point and click game, and I also wonder, just in terms of the visual and information being presented to you, like when you have a bunch of mobs on screen, when you're overhead like that, you can kind of see the individual people or monsters or whatever in the mob, but I feel like over your shoulder it's just kind of like a mass.
Yeah, and who knows if they're going to there's a lot of things that change, though, when they go to that third person. And one of the things this article talks about is like the current thing is like embrace the darkness is kind of what the team is rallied behind and trying to, I assume at that point, I would say it's even trying to get back more to Diablo 1 in a lot of ways. Because 2 was still dark, but it was not as dark as 1. 1 was a very dark gothic horror game.
Right.
2's first act kept to that with Tristram and but then rapidly changed from that whenever you hit the Lut Ghislaine. Really changed up the environment, and from there it just kind of kept ping-ponging back and forth in tone. And 3 did the same thing.
Yeah, and I feel like 1 compared to the other 2, like leaving like this confined structure that in 1 you're just going down and down and down.
Yeah.
When you get out to the deserts or the forests or whatever in 2 and 3, it just seems less scary because of the environment. It's less
different.
claustrophobic.
Yeah, it's not which makes me go back to the camera. Let's say they put it into that Souls over the shoulder. You're probably not being mobbed as much as like 3.
Right.
It puts it back into that embrace the darkness, embrace the horror of no, things can kill you. Like, you are not completely a god smashing everything, wailing through hundreds. It's less Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah.
More Dark Souls, if that's really what they're going for. And
I have a hard time seeing...
I'm kind of sad that they got rid of that, because I would really love a Souls-type game that I could get into, and especially one that had item, like a really good item and loot system, like really deep. Oh, man. I think that would probably do it for me.
Well, the other thing that I associate with Diablo now, especially with 3, obviously, is the thing that you keep bringing it back to for this game, is that it's a power fantasy, and to kind of take that away also is a departure, which is not a bad thing. Like, I really like Diablo, and if I didn't like the new direction, I could go play 3 or 2, obviously. I'm definitely down with innovation, but it's a lot of departures, and I wonder if that's...
And it definitely seems from this article, the other main thing that comes out is there was a lot of disappointment for Diablo 3. And I feel like a lot of choices being made are based around that disappointment.
Right.
Because this goes on to talk about how there was supposed to be a second expansion, and they were just about to start working on it. Reaper of Souls was coming out, But even before they saw how Reaper of Souls management saw how it was received and what it would do, they just canceled the second expansion.
Which is crazy to me because part of the article talks about how compared to Overwatch or Hearthstone, there's not really like a long-term monetization strategy for Diablo 3.
Nope.
And it seems like the answer to that, and I don't know how well these things sell, is just the content drops, right? The Necromancer.
The content, I mean, it always sells. There are exceptions to this rule, but every new piece of paid DLC or content or expansion will sell less than the previous.
Yeah, I guess that's why.
Always.
Right. Is it mainly because people are just done with the game and don't want to play more? Yeah,
pretty much. Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Like the longer, it's just the tail of a game. It will level out, and you'll usually get a pretty, for let's say a game like Diablo 3 that probably did do fairly well. A certain percentage of players are probably still playing it, but that goes down over time. Always. It will never probably be zero, but it's not going to be enough to get a huge spike back in. Expansion comes out, sure you'll get a spike, but it will only be a percentage of what the game originally sold.
Right.
And it's just a numbers game there. And the Diablo games have never been designed in a way to be long-term monetizers. Well, that was what they were trying to do with the auction house.
Right. Well, it's especially
that was their whole purpose. It just failed miserably because Diablo isn't really designed well for that.
Well, it's especially true considering the other two games, the monetization is really around look, right? And in Diablo, you get your look by getting loot from killing enemies. I don't know exactly. I don't know what cosmetics you would throw into Diablo other than like World of Warcraft pet kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really do much for you. I guess it doesn't do much for you in World of Warcraft either, but
yeah.
It just seems like that part of the article was talking about the new CFO that came in from Activision, and it's kind of about cost cutting. And, I feel like a lot of, I don't know, Activision owns Blizzard, obviously, and Activision has shareholders and certain targets to hit. And, the whole thing this year about Destiny not doing super well is ringing in my ears about how they're looking at their other studios. So,
yeah, and that article talks about all these decisions based around how Diablo 3 did and kind of the internal feelings around that, and then also the feelings around Titan.
Right.
Which was a complete money sink. Sure, they got Overwatch out of it in the end, but man, they spent an enormous amount of time and money working on an MMO that never came out.
Yeah.
And why? I mean, Blizzard is notorious for working on things that don't see the light of day. Rest in peace, Ghost. And other things. They tend to not work on them that long, though. Titan was a really odd case in the fact that they just... Ghost had a couple years of maybe a little bit more working on it. Titan had 6, 7, and it's an MMO. It's huge. So...
Right, and you've got Diablo kind of following in those steps where if they put out Reaper in 14 and have been working on the new ones since then. That's 5 years.
And 3, 3 came out in 14?
12, the original one.
12. The original one came out in 12, so you had almost 11 years from 2 to 3.
Right.
And it got rebooted at least 3 times in that, if not 4. I'd have to look again. Well, so, this has been problematic for a while.
Well, you also got to count Reaper as another reboot, even though they had launched it already. So I don't know if it's too many cooks in the kitchen. Obviously, I think you summed it up right when we started. Making a game is hard.
It is hard, and it's not hard for the reasons people think. But creating something that's fun that you think people will play and enjoy is a hard thing to do. And there's a lot. The problem is, it's not a single person endeavor. These are teams of, let's be honest, most of these teams are probably in the hundreds.
Yeah.
100. Blizzard keeps their teams a bit smaller, so let's say it's around 100. It's still hard to keep 100 people all pointed in the right direction, making something you can actually release.
Especially when the vision is not super well codified and you've already dumped something once, so you could be saying to yourself, well, we're probably going to dump this one too. So
yeah,
that's hard.
It's hard, and I don't know I cross my fingers that they get through this. It sounds like the current vision for Diablo 4, people are kind of rallying behind there, like, are excited.
Well, it's kind of coming home for that series. If I remember before 3 even came out, when some of the screenshots came out and they were like more colorful and rainbowy and lots of purples, and people were just like, "This is not Diablo. It's not dark." So I don't know if we're gonna get back to that.
I don't know.
I can wait, to be honest. I still really enjoy Diablo 3. I haven't explored it as much as, I've beaten it a couple of times and got a couple of characters to 70, but I still want to platinum that game. And then I've barely even touched the Necromancer stuff yet. So
3 is still, now having bought it for a third time,
right.
And playing on the Switch, playing it through, the thing with once it had Reaper of Souls and all this content and its seasons, it really shows it has an incredible depth of mechanics in its classes and how the loot affects the classes, especially set items and legendaries. Like, anyone making games on a loot system should really look at the legendaries from Diablo, and how one legendary can just drastically change how you play the game.
Right.
Just fundamentally change how skills work. Well, so there's this weird, you're course hunting stuff because you want that change of gameplay, and it makes things refreshing again until you find that next legendary or that all sorts of stuff. It's a really powerful system they put in there.
Well,
finally,
Assassin's Creed Odyssey kind of tried to take pieces of that, and yes. I feel like when I get the legendary piece, like, it's interesting, but it doesn't really change my gameplay that much. So there's still something to be learned from that.
Yes, I would say with AC Odyssey, I find their legendaries generally interesting.
But when you have the whole set, right? So I feel like one piece hasn't been super. I have several legendary pieces that are okay, but I feel like together as a set is where it would get more interesting for me.
It gets mostly interesting, as I have found there, is yes, you want to get the whole set together because then you unlock the engraving.
Correct.
Oh, and then you don't actually have to have the set anymore.
All right.
You can use that engraving set. That's where that game gets interesting, is getting all the engravings and figuring out which pieces you want to wear so that you get the engravings natively from that piece, and which legendary engravings you want to add on to each piece. Like, there is depth there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Mixing and matching.
It's the mixing matching there that is the more interesting piece.
I guess I still haven't figured out.
Their actual sets themselves, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's mostly just collect them to get the engraving, use the engraving someplace else.
I guess I still haven't figured out if the drops, are they random like Diablo?
No.
Or they're in specific places. Okay.
The legendaries, as far as I can tell, are in specific places.
Okay, so I should go
legendaries
hunting then.
Are fixed. What's the color down from legendary?
The epic, the purple?
The purples are randomly generated.
Oh, okay.
So you can find really, really good epics that you then engrave legendary engravings onto.
Right. So, but when you talk about randomly generated, you're talking about the stats that roll on them.
Yeah, the stats roll, but they also can show up random. Like, they will show up in different chests. Like,
right.
Certain chests will give you a random epic piece.
But the legendary pieces, they're in specific places in the world, is what you're saying.
As far as I can tell, they're specific places in the world or on specific people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they don't seem random to me at all.
Yeah, because I have like several pieces. I have several sets where I have one piece of the set. I haven't really collected more than one of any set so far, which is weird.
Each cultist tree, branch of the tree, gives you one set.
Oh, okay. So
there's a bunch there, and then there's a handful of other ones you find in the world, right. As you do quest chains.
Because I've barely focused on the cultists, like, just haphazardly as I've gone through. Like, I still haven't upgraded to level 5, and I'm of my spear, and I'm 55 hours in this game. I don't know. It's just been so ancillary to me, even though it's like the main drive of the story. But obviously putting the family together, but also, that connects to the cult, obviously. Well, we'll get
But
into
yeah.
more AC Odyssey talk later, but back to Diablo.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on this whole kerfluffle?
It makes sense. It makes sense why Blizzard was trying to put Immortal stuff out. Just being like, hey, it's going to be a while before you get actually Diablo 4. So hopefully, here you go. Something nice.
Which nobody thought was nice.
No,
Few
I
people,
mean,
I
it's
should
just
say.
that whole thing. They shouldn't have said it. It's not something for BlizzCon.
Right.
Or it's not something for the main stage of BlizzCon.
Right.
Like, it can be a side thing, whatever you need, but people were there expecting a Diablo 4. So, yeah, and right now, like, go back to what I said, making games is hard, and it's probably going to be a few more years before we see anything out of Diablo 4.
Right.
Maybe a cinematic. The earliest I could see is maybe a cinematic in a year, like a teaser cinematic. But that's it. Like, I think it's 2 years before you see gameplay.
Yeah. Well, I kind of hope they stick to their guns where they said they had nothing to show and just keep showing nothing until they're ready.
Yeah.
I feel like Diablo 3, I mean, that wait was excruciating. But once we got in 2014, it felt like it was worth it. But I remember being so disappointed playing through Diablo 3 the first time. I was like so pumped, so excited for it by launch day. And then I played through it and I was like, that's it? There's something missing here. So I would rather them wait and put out a game that's worthy of the name.
Yeah.
So I have plenty to play. I'll still be playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey by that point, so whatever.
And I'm crossing my fingers that the people in charge at Blizzard are still the ones making the shots, and it doesn't get too heavy on just looking at it as a business.
Yeah,
From
seems
that's
Activision.
That's always a worry.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of the founders and co-founders of Blizzard have left, so
Right.
it's a big culture shift and changes going on. So it's hard for these companies to navigate those waters. So good luck to all the people working there. It's not like anyone doesn't want to make good games. It's just hard sometimes.
Yeah, especially in a big corporation like that. I feel like it's hard to keep your identity. And they've done a good job, but I think spending that much money on projects that don't come out takes its toll.
Yes.
I even think about projects we're doing at our college that take years to spin up. By the time you get to the end of those couple of years, the enthusiasm for it is kind of gone, and you have a moment, and then if you don't hit the moment, you got to kind of do something else.
Yeah, it's true.
Speaking of moments, I feel like this is the moment for PSVR, simply because
it kind of is.
I feel like, I don't know if it's true for you, but I feel like I've seen people talking about PSVR everywhere simply because it was by far, I think, the best deal at Black Friday besides that PS4 Slim with Spider-Man. So people just seem to be jumping all over it.
Yeah. I mean, it's the right deal at the right time. And there's a number of just really killer games coming out right now for it.
That's the thing, is that it seems like the library is finally worth the price tag. Like for $200, you get this pretty cool experience. Like there's, like 360 videos and just like regular, like, I don't know, kind of travel experiences or whatever with VR that kind of makes it a little worth it. But as a gamer, you're like, that's not really why I want this thing. I want this thing for games. And right now, it's just like, with Beat Saber coming to PSVR, with Astrobot, with Tetris Effect, and just all these good games either available now or coming out right now. It's just it's super enticing, and a $100 price drop just threw a bunch of people into the VR pool, myself included. And then I've just been, the best part of the VR has been showing my friends and my wife like all these different things. Like people have been coming over and I'm just like throwing the headset on their head, like, check this out. And it's just blowing people away.
Anyone puked yet?
No. Everyone's been doing just fine. No, and even me, like I get motion sick pretty easily. The only time that I really got motion sick is when my wife was doing this, like the deep sea dive when I was telling you about, and she was just like looking at everything so fast that I was just getting seasick just watching the screen. So that made me more sick than anything. But we wanted to circle back to the best VR AR games on Whoop, where did my thing go?
The Game Awards?
The Game Awards, yeah. And I just had them queued up on my computer, and I just scrolled through them. There we go. And last week didn't have a lot to say about them because I hadn't played any, and I don't think you've played any of these, perhaps. So the list is just...
Probably not.
Okay, just to refresh everyone, the list for top VR game it's a stellar freaking list. It's like as stacked as the Game of the Year list. It's Astrobot Rescue Mission, which is PSVR exclusive. There's Beat Saber, which is on, I think, all of them now. It just came to PSVR. Yep. Firewall Zero Hour, which is PSVR exclusive. We have Moss, which started off on PSVR and is now on other platforms. And then Tetris Effect, which for now is on PSVR only, or PS4 as well. And of those games, I've played Astrobot Rescue Mission, I've played Moss, and I've played Tetris Effect. And I kind of want to talk about like those games and my experiences with them before I talk about which one I like the best and what I think might win this category. But before I do any of that, because it's going to be me talking for a while, anything about those 5 games that you know about or stands out to you, or anything at all that you...
So the one I actually know the least about is, well, there's 2 that I know the least about, which is Astrobot, honestly, and then the Firewall.
Yeah, so...
the other 3, the ones you own, I know the most about. Astrobot was something that completely has kind of blindsided me. I had no clue what it was and started looking at it, and people seem pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
Beat Saber, I've been falling for a while. Like, that's the one I'm like, I really won VR just to play Beat Saber. Holy crap.
That's the one that's going to sell me on the Move controllers, because I just bought the regular version, which was dumb. I probably should have bought the other one. So hopefully I'll play that soon. But Firewall Zero is...
I have no clue. It's a shooter?
It's a shooter. It's 4v4 multiplayer shooter in VR. And just people that I've heard talk about it on podcasts just evangelize it as just being... You feel like you're there. It's really smooth, plays well.
How do you move?
I don't know, actually.
Because a lot of things do the warping to move in VR.
I don't think this one does.
Where I want to, and if you do the normal walking, like let's say you're using a controller and doing strafing, like using the joystick to move forward, back, left, right, and looking around. Oh, that's a one-way ticket to Vomit Town.
Yeah. Let's see what the Google machine says, because I actually don't know if it's... Because you use the aim controller. I don't know if there's an analog stick on the aim controller or not. Let's see here. What is it? 4v4. Game modes. Yeah, I don't care. Single player. Not sure. Progression. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can't find anything about it.
I'll be curious. I'm very curious on what they do, how they make a 4v4 PvP type game in VR that first person that you don't get sick.
Oh, there we go. You move your character with the analog sticks on the controller and physically aim with the gun. So the aim controller, it's like that gun thing, right? Have you seen that? But it's got analog sticks on it. So
you're moving yourself around, and of course you're looking wherever you're looking.
Right, exactly.
It's VR. Ooh, I'm curious. I'm so curious. Anytime I've done demos that have similar things,
get a little nauseous.
Oh yeah. I get it. It's quick too.
Yeah. Well, from what I've heard, this game is just kind of delivers on the promise of like what would like Counter-Strike or whatever look in VR. And I don't know. I haven't played it. I don't know how the movement would make me feel. I'm actually surprised that I haven't gotten seasick so much. I tried Skyrim VR, which is apparently like people are saying try the slow stuff first before you get into Skyrim. And I played Skyrim for about 20 minutes, and I started to get a little sick. And I had read some stuff online that was like, as soon as you start to feel a little sick, stop. Like, you will not push through it, so just stop. So I had about 20 minutes, and it felt okay. I'm not sure. I would play Skyrim VR, like, right now if it were third person. Because it's first person, it just feels a little bit too close. So I need to wait a little bit on that one.
Yeah.
But okay, so the ones I played, let's start with Tetris Effect. I mean, I thought it was amazing when I was playing it just on a flat screen. But the thing about Tetris Effect that's great is it was the thing that got my wife into VR, where Tetris. She loves Tetris. We play Tetris all the time, just regular Tetris competing against each other. So I was like, hey, you know this game? Check it out. Just put on the VR. And it just starts off super smooth. Like there's hardly anything in the background, just a fucking Tetris board. But as you increase your pace and start building and making lines, like it starts to come alive and more particles, and the music kicks up, and it just becomes more of a sensory experience the further you get. So it's really a smart way to like start you off slow and then kind of ease you into it. So I think I texted you. She wouldn't stop playing. Like she finished one level, went to the next level, and I kind of had to stop her because it was almost time for bed, and I wanted her to try out Astrobot, which is, I'll switch over to that one now. Astrobot is to me right now what The Witcher 3 was to me in 2015. And what I mean by that is I had been away from gaming for quite a while until I got the Wii U in 14 and played, my platformers or whatever. But getting the PS4 and the Xbox One around 2015, just realizing how far gaming had come since I had played last, and then playing Witcher 3 was just a revelation. Like, it looked great. There's just so much depth and lore to the game. The choice system, the way that the consequences play out for things you do, it was just an eminently complex, like engaging game, and it just felt like such a leap forward for me, for my gaming understanding. I understand not so much for people who've been playing consistently, but for me it just felt like, within the first couple hours, this is like top 5 game I've ever played, and it just continued like that. And it's the same feeling I'm getting with Astrobot now. So basically what Astrobot is, kind of imagine Mario 64. What a step forward that was. What a revolution that was when it came out. Imagine it's kind of a similar play style, but with linear levels. Like it's not as open as Mario 64. You start off and you're in these like self-contained levels. It's like a forest or a desert or a cityscape or whatever. And the premise is you've lost your companions on this spaceship. They're spread all over the world, and you've got to find them inside these worlds, basically. And then you are controlling your little dude with your DualShock 4, and he's running around in front of you, platforming. It's a platforming game. And you're just leaning forward, looking around corners, trying to look up and down, trying to find where these dudes are hidden, and then figuring out how to get down there and back. And then it starts adding, the controls are very simple at first, just jump and then punch. And then it starts adding things with your trackpad, like one level, you have like a grappling hook, and you like swipe and aim with your controller to get little hooks in the world. And then another one, you press the button, and it's a water gun, and so you're watering things in the world. You're interacting a lot with the scenery in this game. And the reason why it's just astounding to me, obviously, partially like the gimmick of VR, where it's there. Like the world is all around you.
You're in the world.
You're in the world. Yeah, exactly right.
And anyone that hasn't used VR, you really don't. You're like, yeah, whatever. And then you try it. It's true. When you're in VR, it's like, holy crap, I'm there. And it makes very mundane things really exciting.
Exactly. And I was one of those people who's, I played yours a bit, and I enjoyed the experience, but I was like, yeah, it's all right. But I mean, I think this one's better than the DK2 that I played at your house, but still, it just makes you feel like you're there, and the screen door effect just goes away really, really quickly. And I'm trying to like separate the VR from the game itself, and it's just a really smart, fun platformer. Like there's just so much to the platforming that is really, it keeps adding new little hooks that make it engaging as you go forward. Fun boss fights. It really feels like Mario 64, like how that felt to people. But then you throw on VR, and it's just a revelation. Like this is easily one of my favorite gaming experiences I've ever had. And that's not just because it's in VR, because I'm playing other VR games too that are good, they're fun, but it's not like this. This is just...
I will say the looking around corner thing is incredible.
So
we had a stupid little demo in a game I was working on. It was just a flat level in Unreal. We hooked up VR to it, so the camera was you looking, and you had a little character, third-person character you were controlling with your joysticks, and we just put in a couple pieces of terrain. And I don't know, there was something about it, because your character could go behind things, and you would get up and you would like look around the corner to see where your character was. and there was just something about like where they let me look up from above or to the side so I can kind of like lean into the world and see where they are. That it's such a simple thing, but it felt so good. It's so much fun.
Yeah, especially in a game like this where, platforming itself is fun, but the goal is to like find these hidden things, and they hide them so smartly where it's really pushing you to use the VR space to look around, to walk around, to move around. The new version has a much longer cord, so it really hasn't been an issue of like yanking things or pulling things off or whatever of the shelf that it's on. It's just it's so stupid and trite to say, but it's so fucking immersive. It's unbelievable. In a way that Tetris Effect is not. Tetris Effect is like a chill, like really like visual, I don't know, not soundscape for your eyes, whatever the hell that word is. It's amazing, but this is something different. The one thing that is a drawback for this game that like in my head kind of like makes it like a 9 out of 10 or whatever is in terms of the locomotion. When you're moving forward, when you get to a certain point where you're like progressing through the level, it automatically moves you, automatically moves the camera to catch up. So you'll walk forward like 5 feet, and then all of a sudden the camera will go and it just like kind of knocks you off your feet a little bit. And I feel like there must be some reason why they thought they had to have that. And then you can't go back. Like you can turn around, and then your guy will, if you go back to the beginning of the level, you'll see him like very, very tiny going back, but the camera doesn't then follow you backwards. Camera only moves forward. So it's a weird choice, and I'm not sure. There must have been some reason for that. But overall, it's a game that I am dying to go back to, but I'm forcing myself to play Odyssey, not because Odyssey's bad. I just want to fucking finish this game because it's so great, and before I get sucked into VR, because I'm sure that I'm going to be in VR for a while. And then the last game is just Moss. It's come out to Oculus and Rift, I think, now. And this is the type of game that I was just so looking forward to in VR, and it's really great. It's basically set up in, imagine like a big world broken up into little chunks, little dioramas. So you go from diorama to diorama to diorama. So it's like a forest, and then at the end, when you leave one diorama, you enter the next one, and it's the next part of the forest. So you can see how they all connect. It's just one big landscape. But you don't move along with your character. You're in one stationary spot, and then you're moving him around this diorama, collecting things or moving through the world or fighting enemies or whatever. It's an action adventure game where you're looking at a VR diorama. And it's what I want from VR. It's to play. I don't need to have like a first person perspective where I feel like I'm that character. I'm really enjoying, like I'm playing I don't know, like I was gonna say playing a board game, but not really. But you're like, just playing imagine playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey in VR, where you're just seeing the characters move around, and it just feels like you're there, but not in it. You're there watching it from above. It's great. It's really well done. I think that it doesn't do as many like innovative things as Astrobot does, but it's still like a solid action adventure game. Just happens to be in VR. I think it would be a great game in flat as well, but the VR adds to the depth and the engagement.
Oh, I'm gonna need to get VR sooner than later.
Man, if Anthony was a bigger fan of platformers, I would say that Astrobot is worth the price alone. Just that alone. And then throw in Beat Saber, and then you're set.
Yeah, I think I just need to put Beat Saber there, and I'd be completely fine.
But for me, Astrobot is hands down the best one on this list, and they are amazing games. Just Astrobot is like, it feels like a once in a decade like experience for me. It's fucking phenomenal.
So I'm feeling that's your pick?
That is certainly my pick. So we'll see, but my gut feeling is that Beat Saber is going to win this one.
Oh, really? I would think Tetris Effect.
I hope so. I think that
Beat Saber is my underdog here.
Oh,
it's
really?
Very good, and but it's like that complete indie studio thing. But man, the buzz I saw around Tetris is kind of insane.
Yeah, it's I mean, partially I think in these awards, I think it'll get discounted simply because it's Tetris, and not enough people have probably played it in VR. But it's born for VR. It is like if you didn't play anything else for a year, but these 5 games, it would be worth it. And there's more. There's like 20 games that are worth it on that system.
This makes me wish that this would be a time when I wish PodCap hadn't been bought by EA and then been allowed to work on whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
But goddamn, Bejeweled in VR.
Yeah.
Because Bejeweled 3 had the mode specifically designed to put on really good headphones, and it's never going to not give you matches. Just play and relax. The whole purpose, and you could tweak all the audio to how you want it, and it was simply meant to be relaxing. And I'm like, God, that in VR would be incredible.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know I wanted that until now.
Yeah, it's never going to happen.
No, of course not. Of course not.
We'll move on from there.
Yeah.
And I could just... Because PodCap does not make PC or console games anymore. Right. So...
Well, in terms of VR, you have... Was it the Vive? The Vive?
No, the Oculus.
Oh, yeah, the Oculus.
The retail Oculus.
You can get Beat Saber on there, right?
I'm pretty sure I can. Yeah. I don't have the controllers, though.
Oh.
At least I don't think my friend had the controllers for it. Because it didn't originally launch with the motion controllers. The Vive did. And my friend has a Vive, and he kept his Vive.
Right.
For Beat Saber. He's played it. He loves it.
Well, I saw him playing Tetris Effect the other day. So
yes, that too.
Quite a bit. I don't think he's playing in VR, but still a great game regardless.
He might have it in VR. I don't know. He may have PSVR.
Yeah.
I don't know at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it would tell me if he's playing in VR or not.
But yeah, I should check. I haven't, like I said, hooked up the Oculus, just more on time than anything. But maybe in one of the little boxes here is the controllers, but I doubt it. I think he got the Vive for the motion control and the spatial awareness, because that has the room VR, which PSVR has that, right? They use the camera.
It uses the camera, and it works really well.
Track you.
I've used I think Brad has. I think he has the Vive. Maybe he has the Rift. I don't remember which one. But the room tracking is really cool.
The Vive has 4 posts around the room that keep you within the space, and you can run into walls. It happens.
I almost punched his TV. I went like a half an inch above the TV when I was playing Super Hot. Good times. But no, the fact that you have a system, means that you have access to some of these games, some of these experiences. It's just the reason why PSVR is the best selling of them all. Obviously the price, but just the plug and play, just like right into the PS4. It's really inobtrusive. Like I can detach the headset from the PSVR box that goes into the PS4, put it away in my drawer, and you can't even tell I have a new system up there. It's surprisingly easy to plug in, easy to use, easy to put away and bring back out. I'm going to be using this for quite a while. So that's my experience with VR.
I was looking at Beat Saber. Beat Saber is on everything.
That makes sense.
Even Windows Mixed Reality. Whatever the hell that is.
I don't know what that is.
Is that their AR set?
It's not HoloLens, is it?
I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah, I should see if I can figure out how to hook this thing up to my computer. If I can free up some USB ports.
Yeah.
No, I think PSVR, I've always said it, if they get the right games, it wins hands down the VR race. Because it's just, everyone has the box, and it's much more plug and play than trying to get a VR system set up on your PC. And having a PC that's powerful enough to run a VR headset.
Right. That was the thing when I was talking to my friends down here about VR and what I want to get or whatever. And because I have a gaming computer, some people suggested getting one for the PC, and a lot of reasons why I wouldn't want to do that. But I don't think my processor and my video card, one of the two, aren't strong enough to run it. I think it's probably the video card. Whereas my PS4 Pro is ready to go, so I don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
So it's been nice. And it's just the price, man.
Awesome.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't know if I could bring it up to Seattle when I come up there or not. I'm not sure if I'll do that or not. But some of these games, it would be great for you to experience.
We'll talk later. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Let's move on to what we're playing. Why don't we start with you, since I just did a lot of talking about PSVR.
Yeah. Well, we know some of what you've been playing.
Yeah.
And then, so, I mean, we recorded last Sunday, and then I had Monday and Tuesday, and then I left on my vacation on Wednesday. So I played some more Diablo those nights and just kind of doing a lot there, but mostly it was prepping for this trip, getting work stuff done so that I could take time off. And while I've been on vacation, though, did a little bit Diablo 3, while my wife drove, which is great. So nice. I'm sitting in the passenger seat of my car playing Diablo 3.
That's like the ultimate right there.
Oh, it's so good. And then at hotel nights, I checked out Warframe.
Oh,
I
yeah,
downloaded
on
it
the
before
Switch,
I
right?
left. Yeah. And I was like, all right, I'm going to give this a real shot again. Oh my God, there's so much to learn. But
yeah,
I see what people are saying and why it could be somewhat of a doing what Destiny wants better, from a community and MMO standpoint.
Right.
I played 5-6 missions in, because so I played Warframe. The first time I played Warframe was PC when it came out, the year before the PS4 came out.
Right.
2013, I think. And it was kind of a mess. I'll be honest. It was all over the place control-wise. I had no clue what it was trying to do. I didn't have... It was very hard to understand what it was trying to do at the time. I remember playing it when it came out on the PS4, briefly, and at that point they had added a bunch of map, metagame stuff. I was even more confused. Now playing it many years later and watch on this on the Switch, their new user experience is so much better. It's at least slowly progressing me through the here we're gonna unlock each system of the game one at a time.
That's how I felt about the opening mission, where you're just learning the systems. Each step is 4, 5, 6, 7 segments, learning how to, I don't know, jump, attack, melee, secondary weapon, whatever. It just felt like the clearest, cleanest tutorial in a game that I've played in a long time.
Yes, and this has been even more so on the it does that, and then it starts introducing the metagame concepts, upgrading your Tenno. That's what you are. So your suits, your weapons, how you unlock different cards, mods for all these weapons, and starts teaching you how to do that and do blueprints and all sorts of stuff. The key thing playing it on the Switch is, oh my God, I cannot believe how well it plays on the Switch and looks.
It's really silky smooth.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
How did they make this run as well as it does and look as good as it does?
Panic Button is freaking bunch of wizards.
Yeah. I don't even understand. I know it's an older game, but this is still, it looks really good.
It really feels like more than a free-to-play game.
Yes.
I was surprised. I loaded up on
So you played some of it?
Yeah, I loaded up on a lark just to see what the fuss was all about. I think I played for half an hour while my wife was out with my daughter somewhere, just giving it a try. I haven't gotten back to it yet, but I played it to see, is this a game that I'm going to spend some time checking out? And after half an hour, I was like, yep, I want to come back to this game when I have some time, because it seems like there's something interesting here. So I'm hoping to come back. But it looks great, runs great. The aiming I find a little bit hard, and that's simply because I think the analog sticks on the Switch are just too short.
Yeah, I've been looking into that, because I agree. The aiming, I was like, okay, what do I have to do here? And I haven't had a chance to try it since being home. But there's looking at the Reddit for it on what the hell. They give you a ton of options, actually, control options. If you go into the options menu, it's dense. But you can change all your sensitivities. And people suggest that I've seen turn motion control on.
Okay.
Drop its sensitivity to 0. Drop analog stick sensitivity to 0. Try it at that. Just see what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Then increase each one by 5.
Oh, okay.
See how it feels, and then stop once it feels good.
Right.
And they basically say use motion control for fine aiming.
Right. Like in Breath of the Wild or whatever.
Yeah. So it just, I just have to mess with that more because I was noticing my aiming, it just goes wild.
Yeah, me too.
But they do allow you to have sensitivity adjustments in their options and field of view adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
So I increased my field of view to pretty much max.
Right.
That helped me a lot too.
I'll have to check that out.
I was just impressed with the amount of normally console games don't give you that many options.
Right.
And it totally does. I really look forward to putting more time into that. But really, it's been Diablo 3 in a car, which I never expected. And then Warframe at night for a little bit when I had decent hotel internet and could just kind of chill out for a little bit at night.
Right, because it's an always online game, right?
Yes, you do need to have an internet connection for Warframe.
Right.
It's very much in line with Destiny in that sort of thing. It's an MMO. Yeah. Kind of. An instanced MMO.
Right.
But, I mean, if you want to keep playing more of it, I would totally team up and give it a try in the co-op.
Yeah, let me get past basically the tutorial stuff here. I think I just got to my ship. Like, I went through the tutorial and I just got to my ship the first time.
You got to that first one. So I'm a number of missions past that.
Yeah, so I need to... I don't know when that's going to happen because my gaming time is spent on Odyssey, which I'll kind of jump into now. I think I was texting you last night and Brad as well that 55 hours in, I went to Cathera Island because it's where the next artifact is that I wanted to get. And I don't know where the fuck the artifact is. I just started stumbling across, main quest stuff with the, the diamond with the exclamation mark or whatever in the middle.
Yeah.
Some side stuff. Probably picked up like 10 or 15 missions on this really tiny island that are all super interesting, and I just got totally sidetracked. I have no idea where the artifact is, what I'm supposed to do. And I ran into this guy who was like purporting to be a god, basically. I don't know if you remember this guy.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is a weird storyline. And I did a couple of missions for him. I can't remember exactly what it was that I did for him. But I came back to the place where he is worshipped or whatever. And he said, okay, the next mission, he didn't say mission. He said, the next thing is I'll introduce you to my brothers and sisters, the other gods. And I was like, okay, you fucking crazy dude. And then when you select the next mission, you go to the Forgotten Isle, that place that I went after Kefalonia the first 6 hours of the game. And I think there's like a Cyclops or something in there. So I just randomly stumbled into this guy that I could have passed up. And if I had passed up, does that mean that I never would have gone back to the Forgotten Isle or whatever it is to do that next thing?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you have to do that, yeah. I think you have to do that quest line to unlock the Forgotten Isle, unlock the door.
Right, but I could beat the game without ever doing that, right?
Yep.
That's crazy. So I haven't done it yet because I'm mired in like 7 other things. Like I'm helping this Diona, whatever it's called, Idiona's the priestess of love or something like that, and her sister's the high priestess.
Yes.
And I went and like freed the prisoners from this camp that I realized I probably shouldn't have done because I think she's crazy, but the sister's not. I don't know what. It's just.
That's a really fun one, dude. Enjoy that one.
I am so far because everything on this island so far is just like interesting, well written, bizarre.
Yes.
And I'm going to ask you, and if you can remember, I hope you can just tell me, where the fuck is the artifact? Is it embedded in one of these main story quests, or am I missing something?
Are you talking about the artifact that you need to return to Atlantis?
Yeah. So it's supposed to be in Cathera, which I assume is Cathera.
No, you've already done it. You need to go back to the Forgotten Isle.
Oh, okay. So that's where it is.
So you've already started the quest line. You found the dude. That's the dude you're supposed to find, and you'll follow that quest line through, and you'll get it.
Okay, cool. Because that's what it seemed like, but then I was like, well, it's sending me to a completely different part of the map, so it must be... It's supposed to be on Cathera, but then I was like, well, maybe it's supposed to start on Cathera, but maybe I pick up somewhere else.
It starts on Cathera. You're supposed to find the person that knows something.
Got it.
Has
Oh,
which is
okay.
that crazy dude.
Oh, okay, that helps because I was like, I must be missing something, but I just misread it or something like that.
Yeah, all you have to do is go to the Forgotten Isle now
Okay.
and
Cool.
do that fight.
Because I'm, let's see here. I finished. Oh yeah, I finished a Stentnor quest where.
Oh, nice.
Which I really enjoyed, where I had to go fight the 4 champions, and it wasn't like 4 fights. It was like one spoilers, of course, we're talking about Odyssey. One, you show up and the dude you're supposed to kill is already killed by, your dad, basically.
Yeah.
Or your not dad, whatever. And another one, you find her in a camp and kill her. Another one, I think she's already dead or something like that. Or you have to figure out where she went. I don't know what. They were just all 4 varied and unique and interesting fights.
Yes.
And then you go back to Stentnor and fight the conquest battle. And at the end, he just wants to kill you basically and challenges you to a fight. And feels like it's one of the inflection points of the game where like the choices you make obviously influence the ending. And this seems like one of those points where either you kill him and something changes at the ending, or you don't kill him and something different happens at the ending. What happened was I convinced my dad to stay to help Stentnor, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
And then I chose not to fight him, I chose not to fight him or kill him or whatever. Then the dad came in and was like, hey, let's calm down. All
right, we have the same on that.
Okay. So I'm hoping that means everyone's still alive. That's what I assume is going to happen by the end. I have a feeling, I think it's pretty obvious, but maybe I'm wrong. These inflection points, the goal obviously is to keep the family together, and I assume at the end of the game it's supposed to be, Cassandra and Demos, or whatever the fucking name is, Alexios, Marini, and the wolf, what's his name? Nikolaus. And maybe Stentnor. Yeah, maybe Stentnor.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the one thing. It's definitely one of those points when you're playing the game. If you killed your dad early,
yeah,
I don't think Stentnor can stay alive. I think you have to fight him.
Yeah.
I have a feeling if you killed him when you first meet your dad, that changes the you don't get this whole option here.
You get the bad ending, I guess.
Yeah, I get, or whatever. I don't know.
Whatever it is. I almost did that. At that point, it felt like the major point where I was going to do something different than I normally do. Because normally I'd be like, I don't want to kill you because if you're dead, then I think some branches of the story are closed to me, so I'm going to keep you alive. But I was thinking, if I were her, would I want him dead? Yeah, maybe. I almost killed him and I didn't. So I think you and I have done the same choices so far, which is interesting. At the same time, I feel like the choices we've both made are kind of like the kinder options in a way.
Yeah, probably. I mean, let's be honest. I played Mass Effect, and I was generally more Paragon than Renegade. So
I remember because my saves didn't match up from 1 to 2. I was like super Paragon in 1, and then for 2, I was like, all right, screw it, I'm just going to do as Renegade as possible. And it just felt weird. I don't like playing like that.
There are certain side tangent. There are certain options in Mass Effect 2 where the Renegade option is the best option still.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well,
just in a fun way.
Yeah.
Like kicking the dude off the elevator shaft.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I'm sorry. That was just one. I'm just like, yeah. Like this just... there's a couple points where I'm like, yeah, I tend to not be the absolute dick, but being the dick right now seems the correct choice.
Right. Man, I hope they remaster those games for Switch. Please put them on Switch. Oh my god, I want to play them again really so bad. And the last game I played this week, unless you had something else to say about those games.
No.
Okay. Because one of the best mobile games, or one of the list, whatever, has a few that I played, but one I haven't played yet was Reigns Game of Thrones. So I finally loaded it up on Friday and just fell down a rabbit hole. The original Reigns is kind of fun, like the swipe left or right to make decisions, and you open up new card packs and whatever else, new endings and things like that. But it's very linear. There's not a lot of depth to it, other than like the different branches you go, the different decisions you make. This one is significantly different, where there's you're still doing the swiping, opening up new kind of pack lines, like exactly what some of them are called, but like King of the North as you're playing, and you make a decision that opens up the King of the North pack, so you get new cards to kind of expand the choices you can make. But as you're going through, if you make certain decisions, you open up a new character. So at the beginning, you start as Daenerys, and then there are 8 other tiles that are grayed out. And as you progress, you open up a new one, and you have a new character who can be your king or queen. So you can have Daenerys, you start with her as the queen, and then in my playthrough, the second time through, I opened up a new character, which was Tyrion. So then I played as King Tyrion, and then I had Jon and Arya, and then Cersei so far. And the choices you make, the characters you meet, like it's just really well done in terms of Game of Thrones lore, basically. And it's not strategy so much, but there's more depth to the choices. There's more depth to where you can take the characters. There's a few more options, it felt like to me, where you could... the premise of the game, there are 4 categories. It's like army, the people in your kingdom, the treasury, and the church. And you've got to keep them... You don't want them too low or you'll lose, or too high and you'll lose. So like if the army's too low, you don't have an army to protect you, you die. If it's too high, the army will actually kill you and take over. So you got to keep them in the middle. If anyone gets too low or too high, you just game over. So there's several tools in this particular game that allows you to kind of cancel out one of those. Like I found one character who let me refill my treasury whenever it got low. So he would find a way to get money whenever the treasury got low. So if I was buying a lot of things or paying bribes or whatever, I basically never ran out of money. So it kind of zeroed out at least one of the 4 categories, so I can only worry about the 3, which kind of opened up more gameplay options for me. Because balancing all 4 is a little tricky. But man, as a Reigns fan, it's fucking fantastic. If it were a different property or an IP, it would still be great. But as a Reigns fan plus Game of Thrones super fan, like this is really, really fun, really amazing experience. So it's
how much is it? Oh, it's only like $3.
$3.99, $2.99, something like that.
Holy crap!
You should get it. It's good. If I don't know if it goes on sale at one point or whatever, but if you're
I don't care. It's $3, whatever.
Yeah, if you're looking for a phone game to occupy you on a commute or whatever, it's worth the money for sure. It's for me, it's not even about money anymore. It's about time. Is it worth my time?
Yeah.
And this one's definitely worth my time.
I need a longer commute.
What besides going downstairs?
Besides 30 feet and a flight of stairs.
Right, exactly. I have a nice commute, but I'm driving.
I don't get time to play all my games on my phone anymore.
Right. No,
woe is me. First world problems.
Exactly. This is one to carve out time for. It's worth it. You're gonna couple hours. I played for 2 or 3 hours over the past 3 or 4 days. And I'll go back for sure because I have some more things to unlock. But it's Reigns was good. I played it. I got Greg into it. I played it probably 6, 7, 8 hours all told. This game is great, so I'm gonna end up playing more of it. So yeah, that's what I've been playing this week. That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, way more than me. But
you've been traveling, not so much me.
Oh man.
Anything else to bring up before we wrap up this episode?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, this has been episode 167 of Prof and Dev Play Games. He's at Summerspeak. I'm at Prof Plays Games. Give us a rating if you can. We enjoy having all these new listeners. We hope you like the show, and just let everyone else know what you think so that we can surface the show to more people. We'd really appreciate that. Happy holidays as we move into the month of December, and we'll be back next week for episode 168.
All right. Later, everyone.
Night, folks.